Kia ora. Hi, I'm Nigel. I'd just like to talk about South New Brighton today. Really nice spot down there. Really good dog walking. I'm going to talk about two parts. First part is this purple strip here. You can go down there sort of any day of the week and there's probably more people than the Margaret Mayhew playground. Nice, really nice walking, dog walkers, cyclists, range of people, even a guy in an electric mobility scooter sometimes. But along there, the edge is eroding quite badly. Sorry, it's not the best of photos. As you can see there, there's a bit of occupation left from where the old seawall was, and it's been washing over the top, coming in quite fast. Some of those trees there probably need to come out. They're not really helping retain the land. But what I'd like to see happen is the documented position that's shown on the survey plans is held, that the seawall's fixed up and a decent hard edge there, not any sort of grading and planting and stuff that's just not going to hold it back. If you go around the country, seawalls everywhere, or if you jump across the beach to Sumner, there's one there. Another example there, and that's reasonably high tide coming in over the top, and you can see how the land's retreated. And look at that next one there, it's just about in where the path is, and a little bit further down it does come into the path as well, so that's a hazard for cyclists or anyone that's not looking where they're going and could fall off the side in there. Second part there is down through the red zone, or now very green red zone, lovely spot. Also got a lot of foot traffic and dog walkers and people going through there. Now that's, I guess that's owned by central government at the moment, but we all know it's going to go to the council eventually. Down there, there's a bit of work that needs cleaned up there. You can see these drums here that have been used as part of a fence line, and there's bits of old Super 6 asbestos roofing and bits and pieces lying around that. But you can see along the edge there where the walls have held out a lot of water and the concrete footing there, but places where there's the footing's gone and the edge it hasn't been held, that's where the water comes in, and that's going to erode away towards the mound. What I'd like to see there is a hard edge back to the documented position, so it protects what will be the council asset, which is the land down there. It can be a reserve or a park or whatever one day, but I think we need to hold it for the future generations and retain the position where it actually is. That pile of rubble, which looks like a mess, is actually doing a pretty reasonable job, and it holds back the water reasonably well and stops the erosion. If that was further up the road, up the track, you wouldn't have it wouldn't have eroded quite like it has. But there's spaces there where it needs to be retained, reinstated, fixed up. Like there, you can see the water's coming in over the top. And if we do nothing, that's when we get the water. Obviously, this is it's flooded down there a couple of times when we've had king tides. That bit there's now had some emergency works done to keep the flooding out, and there's a mound that goes right across there now. But what we don't want to see is that little mound that runs through the middle there actually held back the water pretty well when there was flooding, and that's a very last resort. But what I'd like to see is the council land there actually be retained, be protected. Sorry, it's Crown land, but will be council. You can see there where there's been planting there of wetland tussocks and stuff to try and hold the land, but when the sea comes in, it just kills it and it doesn't work. Yeah. So I'd really like a hard edge, nice walking tracks for everyone that uses it, whether it be dog walkers, cyclists, people from out of town.
Very good.
Any questions?
Sarah.
Thank you for that. Thanks for putting up so many good photos. There's undoubtedly a stack of still that earthquake legacy stuff that's yet to be addressed by council. But at the same time as dealing with that earthquake legacy stuff, so the edge of the estuary, those kind of things, we've heard from other submitters about, whether the community's ready for looking for the future stuff, for the adaptation, for sea level rise, those kind of things. And I'm aware that just a small hard edge won't deal to that. Are you ready for both of those conversations?
Yeah, sure.
So working on the earthquake legacy stuff, the damage that hasn't yet been repaired, those kind of things, as well as looking forward for planning for the next 20, 30, 50 years. Yeah.
Well, 20, 30, 50 years, a hard edge will protect you in that amount of time.
Yeah.
Obviously, sea level rise is something that's happening.
Yeah.
You go over, another thing is probably the displacement as well. If you drop a golf ball in your glass of water, it's going to lift the sea level. And with how many thousand hectares have we just increased the port by filling it up with earthquake rubble and concrete and fill? So if we're actually, what's that called, avulsion, we're changing the sea level around there, or the foreshore around there, but we're not, on this side, you're saying that, hey, we're going to plan for sea level rise and leave it. Why are we building it somewhere else, or an artificial island off anywhere?
But you're ready for that conversation now, so what we did hear from one submitter was that they thought that all of the earthquake stuff should be fixed before we started even discussing the future stuff. But as a local resident, are you open to conversations about the future planning and future what needs to happen
Yes,
in that area
definitely.
now? Yeah, cool.
And for the short to medium term, which would be under 50 years,
Yeah,
I think this is what needs to happen.
it's great, thanks.
Great. Look, thank you very much for your submission, and thank you for the really clear images as well. It's very helpful.
That's right.
Thank you.